Hi, Brasco Green once again here with Chief Flow Radio, and I'm standing here with Eric Sterling. You know, this is a very important guy, and proud to stand here with you this evening. Why don't you tell a little bit about your background in terms of what you've done as far as advocacy in the cannabis community?
Sure. So, I testified for the first time for marijuana decriminalization when I was still a law student in 1976 in Pennsylvania. And I've been a member of NORML ever since. NORML totally changed my life. When I got out of law school and started seeing the lawyers who were associated with NORML, representing criminal defendants and doing civil rights cases, it's like, those are the kind of lawyers I would someday like to be a part of.
Right.
So I was a public defender, and then I lucked into a job at the House Judiciary Committee, where I was the counsel for the House Crime Subcommittee, responsible for writing gun control laws, money laundering, organized crime, pornography, and illegal drugs.
Wow.
And had my fingerprints in all over the federal law and the drug laws. And I am infamous for my role in the summer of '86, after Len Bias died. I was the counsel to the Judiciary Committee involved in producing the crack powder mandatory minimums in August 1986. And so I speak about this a lot, you know, radio, movies. There's a movie out now called Incarcerating Us. Here's another one, How to Make Money Selling Drugs. Great movie. I got some great cameos in that movie. But anyhow, to be here is so exciting to me.
Okay.
To meet small business people involved in the cannabis space and the cannabis market, to see this market festival here is so inspiring and fulfilling at the same time. You know, that the aesthetics suck. The aesthetics are such a downer, but the spirit is so high. The quality of the people who are here is so high.
Right.
This fact that these folks are all making this living in supplying cannabis legally to Americans is so overdue. It's so overdue. It's so wonderful.
Yeah. You know, and I want to ask you, because, I mean, that was very interesting. I mean, the time, the era, you know, from 1988, 86 to now, and your background with law. I mean, how do you feel the landscape for law has been, you know, for the cannabis environment, particularly in the state of Maryland?
Well, in Maryland, the General Assembly has continued to liberalize the cannabis law. In 2003, Republican Governor Bob Ehrlich signed a medical marijuana law. It was a criminal. It was so fucked up. It was a sentence mitigation medical marijuana law. That if you satisfied the court, you had medical necessity, then the maximum punishment for being a patient was only $100.
And we're talking patients, right?
That's right. Wow. That's right. You've established to the court you're a patient. The judge may punish you $100. Is that fucked up?
Yes.
That prosecutors would take those cases to court and say, prove to the court that you're a patient. Bring in your evidence. It's like, I mean, why are you putting people through this legal torture? Yeah. So that's an old law. And that's prosecution.
And the courts was deciding whether or not you were a patient.
Yes.
Very interesting.
So you know, these are fact questions for a court. So then the legislature began, like in 2011 or something. They set up a commission to study medical marijuana. They issued reports, and in 2013, the legislature created a medical marijuana program and a medical marijuana commission to start in October of 2013. Governor O'Malley appointed me to the commission. I applied. There was a slot for a lawyer who knows a lot about marijuana laws in the country. I applied. They appointed me to a 4-year term. So my term has just ended. And so I was involved in helping to write these very confounding regulations for medical marijuana in Maryland.
Right, and I mean, you know, a lot of Marylanders are wanting to see this kind of happen. I mean,
of course.
But their lawmakers and policy, just kind of held this whole thing up. I mean, but what is the actual solution so we can get to, patients having safe access to, marijuana?
So what's needed now is actually, support and encouragement of the Medical Cannabis Commission to finish the licensing process. Simultaneously, it's clear that it is appropriate, it is just if the General Assembly were to pass a law in January that as a finding of fact by the legislature, there has been in Maryland, as in other states, a history of discrimination against people of color in their association of cannabis. They have been stigmatized, they have been imprisoned, their property has been taken, their families have been disrupted, they have suffered enormous loss.
Right.
That it is at a minimum just that there be a part of this industry that African Americans are guaranteed a role in, at least to get, to start, to have a play, to have justice.
Right.
With whatever this is going to come to be, African Americans have a right to say we're a part of this from the justice perspective, and that's a decision the legislature makes. A court doesn't have any guidance to do this.
Yeah.
So that in doing that, then they would be consistent with what the Supreme Court required in the city of Richmond case.
Okay.
And that's allowing governments to do set-asides and contracting. That we didn't have that authority in 2016 when the commission was evaluating the licenses.
Okay.
So the commission's being attacked for actually following the Constitution but not getting the outcome that people hope to get because the law wasn't properly drafted.
Yep.
So properly draft the laws, you can get the results that you want.
And there you have it right here. Eric Sterling, thank you. That was great. Chief Flow, Crooked Streets Radio. We're at the DC FLOWERFEST 2017. Definitely wish you guys could be here, but if you're not, definitely can check this out. ChiefFlow.com.
Chief.